a massive real estate company purchased over 2,500 acres of land. Their plan was to build a luxury residential community. Investors believed it would become one of the biggest projects in the region, but there was one neighbor they didn't expect. Right next to the project lived an old farmer. He had owned his land for more than 40 years. He knew every inch of the valley and the nearby river, and he had something important to say. Developers arrived with engineers and construction teams. They studied maps and planned roads, houses, and a private lake. Everything looked perfect on paper. The project moved forward quickly. The farmer walked over to speak with the developers. He politely warned them about the valley. Heavy rains could flood the entire area within hours. But the developers didn't seem concerned. The developers trusted their engineers and reports. According to their data, the land was perfectly safe. They believed modern construction could handle any risk. The farmer's warning was ignored. Construction began almost immediately. Bulldozers cleared fields and trees across the valley. Roads and foundations started taking shape. The massive project was underway. Soon dozens of houses began rising across the land. Investors and buyers were excited about the new community. Advertisements promised beautiful homes near nature. Everything looked like a huge success. The developers proudly showed investors the progress. Roads, homes, and infrastructure were nearly finished. The project looked even better than expected, but the farmer continued watching quietly. One afternoon, the sky suddenly darkened. Heavy storm clouds gathered over the valley. The farmer looked toward the river with concern. He had seen this weather pattern before. The rain started slowly at first, but soon the storm became extremely powerful. Water rushed through the valley faster than expected. The situation quickly became dangerous. Within hours, the valley began to flood. Water flowed through streets that had just been built. Construction materials floated through muddy currents. Workers watched helplessly. Engineers stared at the rising water levels. Their reports had never predicted such flooding. Equipment and materials were already being damaged. The disaster was unfolding quickly. Heavy machines were left trapped in deep water. Mud covered roads and construction areas. Work crews tried to save what they could, but the storm was far too strong. By morning, the entire valley was underwater. Several newly built homes were badly damaged. Roads had collapsed under the rushing water. Millions of dollars were already lost. The developers arrived to see the destruction. Their expensive project had turned into a disaster overnight. The valley looked nothing like their original plans. Reality had hit them hard. Meanwhile, the farmer stood quietly on his land. His fields remained safe and dry. He had warned them weeks earlier, but no one had listened. Emergency crews inspected the damaged area. Engineers tried to understand what went wrong. The flood had destroyed critical infrastructure. Repair costs were rising rapidly. Local residents began talking about the disaster. Many remembered the farmer's warning. People wondered why the developers ignored him. The answer now seemed obvious. County officials began reviewing old land records. Historical maps showed repeated flooding in the valley. The area had always been a natural floodplain. The warning signs were clear. Insurance investigators soon arrived. They examined the damage carefully. Ignoring flood risks created serious legal problems. Many losses would not be covered. Inside their office, the developers reviewed the numbers. Repairing the project would cost millions more. Investors were already demanding answers. The future of the project was uncertain. The farmer quietly looked across the valley. Experience had taught him how the land behaves. Sometimes the simplest warnings matter the most, but only if people choose to listen. Thumbs up if you enjoyed this story. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Speech balloon comment below. Where are you watching from?